Earlier today, Keir Starmer, the forensic leader of the opposition, was kicked out of the pub.
That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
Sorry, can you keep out the way?
Thank you.
Thank you. This was not a good visit for Keir Starmer. He was in Bath earlier today, visiting pubs, the same pubs that he advocated for them to close, for them to not have any support, and for them to actually lose everything that they have without any backing from, well, whether his party, the Labour Party, or anybody else in the establishment. Of course, the pub owner was rightly angry at the current situation. And the issue with what happened today was that there are a couple of points. One is Keir Starmer wasn't the only one visiting pubs today. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, also visited the pub, which went slightly differently for him. This is a difference between when you have the people around him, the team of Boris Johnson, knowing how to do their research, find a pub that's friendly, and Starmer's team didn't do their research properly, went to a pub that wasn't fully friendly. Now, that's the political side of it. But in terms of what happened before that row that you just saw, I'm going to show you the clip, and there's a problem with what Keir Starmer did.
And ask the real question. Well, I am telling you now, and I hope this goes out, you have failed this country. You have seriously failed. You have allowed our children to wear masks in school when it's never been any evidence for it.
Guys, the car here, can you have car food, please?
Do you want to come on in here, Mum? Come on in, sir.
They've been on the front line keeping people alive. So I really don't need lectures from you about this pandemic.
I don't know if you heard the last bit. Starmer said, because people in the healthcare sector have been working hard, he said, and I quote, "I really don't need a lecture from you on how to run a pandemic or how to deal with the pandemic." This is not how you deal with your potential voters. Now, this guy was a former Labour voter all his life, and he's no longer supporting the Labour Party and Starmer because they don't really show any opposition at this point. Now, there are some people on Twitter who were not happy with the pub owners because he was angry, because he was shouting. They said that, Starmer dealt with it really well. And that's irrelevant. The context matters. What actually the guy was angry about matters, because people are angry across the country. Whilst you can argue that, the establishment, when they went with the policy of lockdown, when it was supposed to be short term, to flatten the curve and protect the NHS, that was, understanding. And also those who are still in favor of a longer version of lockdowns, that's all irrelevant. The problem with the establishment is that they completely abandoned everybody else. Just because, we had Rishi Sunak throwing out free money with furlough and everything else, and some loans and grants, doesn't mean that they were taking care of everybody. They proactively shut down the economy and ordinary people's lives. It's not just about money or businesses. This is people's livelihood, their mental health, everything else, their actual health. We know cancer patients have been in trouble because of this. And yet, we haven't heard much about them from, again, Rishi Sunak, Matt Hancock, Keir Starmer, Boris Johnson. This is why people are angry. This is not just an intellectual debate on how to manage the pandemic in general. This is simply about the fact that people feel left behind. And they thought that after the 2016 anti-establishment wave with the Brexit vote, the establishment finally learned to no longer leave people behind. But clearly that wasn't the case. And this is why Starmer, at the end, being arrogant and say, well, I'm not going to take lectures from you. I don't care about you. I'm just going to walk away. Also, the first clip, just watch this bit.
That man is not allowed in my pub. Get out of my pub. Go on. Get out of my pub.
I love how, there's this point about Starmer entering the pub. Why was he going to the pub? Because there's another clip that's now been removed on Twitter that Starmer was actually just going inside saying, can I come and visit and say hi? Well, you're not allowed to go inside the pub. Unless you're to use the facilities, you're not allowed to use the pub. You just have to stay outside. Doesn't matter who you are. Whether you're the Queen or not, it doesn't really matter. You can't do that. So there are a number of issues with this visit. And again, Starmer's team did not do their research properly. And but people's concern matter. That a lot of people are attacking the pub owner on Twitter right now just because he was angry. But that's not right. This is a democracy. People are allowed to be angry. People are allowed to face the politicians and actually say what they feel. And Starmer has to actually stay there and listen and respond. You know, he stood there awkwardly, quietly for a bit, listened, had no answers for him, and at the end he just said that, well, no, the NHS workers are working hard, so that's why I'm not going to take any lectures from you. That's an emotional argument. That's irrelevant. Doesn't really matter. And also, Boris Johnson got lucky that he went to a pub that was friendly. Otherwise, he would also face a lot of criticism from a number of others from across the economy in general. But I just wanted to show you this because this pub owner is currently under attack just because he was shouting. And Starmer, seriously, he needs to show some leadership. If he's really forensic, he needs to listen to the guy, because the guy was showing him a chart, kind of some data about the average kind of life expectancy and the average kind of death in terms of the age with the current virus and everything else. But, you know, he was just treating him like some sort of conspiracy theorist, and that's not how politicians should be. Like, if he's forensic, he should look at the data, and then he could agree or disagree. This is not really about you know, talking about the virus or whether it's right or wrong, whether it's good or bad, whether it's real or not. This is not about that. It's about democracy and how politicians should really conduct themselves in public. So I just wanted to make this video, let you guys know what just happened in Bath and on Twitter. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click like to help the video. I'm Tousi, and I'll see you guys at 8 p.m. with a live stream.